the Afterlife Wrestling Federation. For over 100 years, the revolutionary force in slam bang Western style wrestling. We are back. All right, for those of you who are wondering what happened to the Easter show, that's actually on my partner's channel. So you can go ahead, pause this, go look it up, and come back here. But for now, the first big show after Easter was the Elysian Brand's Eat, Drink, and Be Merry. I am Andrew McHale. He is S.K. Greene, and he is being joined by the Bolivian Death Flute. So if you hear anything, that's his fault.
Yes, that's one of the weaknesses on these things, where you probably don't need everybody to know that they wasted not having a gag reflex on a straight man.
There we are, ladies and gentlemen. This is getting to be fun already.
Yes.
So for this show, there were 8 matches on the card. Let me run it down for you as it would have been done in the event center. The ALWF heavyweight title was on the line. Champion Roddy Piper granted the rematch to Nature Boy Buddy Rogers. Terry Gordy had Buddy Jack Roberts in his corner as he defended the TV title against Kerry Von Erich, who brought out David for backup. Your Elysian Tag Team Champions, Bruno Sammartino and Pedro Morales, the Kings of New York, took on Perro, Aguayo Jr. and Hector Garza, Los Perros del Mal. We needed a new #1 contender for Penny Banner's Women's Championship, and a 6-pack challenge would be the answer. China, Ludovichan, Mae Young, Plum Marco, Fabulous Moolah, and an entrant to be named later. Mr. Miracle, the Junkyard Dog, took on somebody hoping to steal his briefcase, Hot Stuff, Eddie Gilbert. Devastation Incorporated, The Sheik, Freddie Blassie, Maurice Vachon, Makan Singh, took on a united front of Mitsuharu Misawa, Jumbo Tsuruta, El Santo, and Gory Guerrero. And Captain Lou Albano was there to make sure that Gary Hart didn't start any trouble. Lou Thez had just about enough with the Sandown Corporation, and he wants to beat all 4 of them in one night. He challenged to a gauntlet match. They accepted. And in a battle of some hot tag teams, Gotch style, Frank and Carl Gotch take on the newly promoted Vancouver Giants, Leo Jonathan and John Tenta. SK, I'll start with you. What's your thoughts on this card before we begin?
Honestly, it's one of those cards that it feels like a B pay-per-view at the first time I see it, but seeing all the matches on there, there's a lot of stuff that could look very good if it on paper. There's some, it's like that. It's timely, so it's kind of like Stomping Grounds tonight. There's a lot of stuff that seems kind of but it's probably not going to be that bad. So,
and the bonus is we actually had good stories to go with them. So
exactly.
Plus no Baron Corbin. Yes.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. We can probably find a big, completely worthless metal guys to go through on this one. Is Kurt Cobain willing to wrestle?
Oh, jeez. I'll have to take it out of here in a minute, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We're live from Who Cares Where. Your hosts are Lance Russell on play-by-play and his lordship, Alfred Hayes, on commentary. And we're going to begin with Mr. Miracle, Junkyard Dog, holding that Anytime, Anywhere title shot briefcase and attempting to defeat Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert. Gilbert attacked while the dog was playing to the crowd, but his attack backfired. Clotheslines, hip tosses, the crawling headbutts. Gilbert was really going nowhere fast. He spent a little time outside. Dog chased him on the outside, but ran into the post after a sidestep. Back in, Gilbert works him over. Big suplex, leg drop follows. That's the first 2 count of the night. Gilbert works over the dog in the corner. Goes for a cross corner. No, dog reverses. Gilbert hits the corner. Big back body drop, and dog is taking over. All sorts of headbutting follows. Then a huge overhead throw. Dog going up to the top. Diving headbutt, finds nobody. Gilbert falls with a atomic drop. He's got dog set up. There's the hot shot, but it's only a 2 count. Now Gilbert going up top. He looks for a crossbody, but dog catches him, runs. There's the thump. There's the pin. Only 4 minutes. Junkyard Dog looking dominant tonight in the opener.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and this is one of those things where it's kind of a weakness, where one of the good things about a lot of these things is that it's clear that they're going to be making the draft soon, and this seemed like a good example where Eddie Gilbert's time will come, just not yet, and not any time on this one. You could see it because it surprisingly only got 1 star from the 2 editors of Horace Greeley and George Jones, so this is not a big benefit anyway.
Yeah, a very short match, really didn't deserve much more. So not much of a surprise there, but the real surprise came as Dog was celebrating at the end of the match, and Sam Muchnick ran in, hit him from behind with a low blow, and Muchnick's charge, Buddy Rogers, attacked and applied the figure 4 and held it for a very long time. The referees were trying to separate it. They were looking for help, and finally it was Vern Gagne. Oh, okay, hey, if you're going to run in, go for it. He chases Rogers to the back, turns around. Oh, Muchnick is adding a few cheap shots to JYD, so Gagne knocks him out with the sleeper, helps JYD to the back. Now, obviously, Vern Gagne is not the type who would have liked to feature Junkyard Dog in the AWA, but, you know, there's nothing wrong with a babyface helping a babyface out. The bare story here is that you have to think that this is where Buddy Rogers is going, whether or not he defeats Roddy Piper, and you have to think now they're telling you, relax, there's no cash in tonight.
Yeah, it's still one of those weird things on it, because even if it's a face helping a face, this is one of those which is where, like, you can smell a heel turn coming if they suddenly say, oh yeah, Vern Gagne and Junkyard Dog are best friends, and they always were, because, quite frankly, Vern Gagne, even if as a face, was the type of person who would never go with Junkyard Dog on it, because he was that one thing that you knew would never work in a Vern Gagne promotion, namely not an amateur wrestler.
So kind of weird thing there, but you know, anything that gets us to Gagne versus Rogers, I'm going to be fine with it at the time being, because that is a matchup that, you know, surprisingly we haven't seen much of.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, that's one of the pluses, because remember, Gagne was one of the first people who left because they wouldn't give him the world title in the NWA, and that's why the AWA formed. So
exactly. Backstage, Mr. Electricity, Herb Abrams, gave Luthez an interview, and Thez basically talked about how he wasn't worried about having to fight 4 times tonight. Everyone knew he had the greatest cardio in Elysium. He was going to prove just how powerful he was and how strong he was when he beat 4 men in one night. Standard promo here to build the match, but I'm kind of surprised that anybody would have doubted Thez's stamina, to be honest.
Yeah, honestly, that's one of the weird things on it. And when the write-up went through, it's one of those cases where sometimes it's like Luthez going 30 minutes is a surprise, and then it's like, bitch, Luthez would have said after 30 minutes, great warm-up, now let's get to the real match.
Yeah, we're all waiting for when Luthez faces Break the Hammer Valentine. We can just fast forward to the first 20 minutes.
So basically like a Kazuchika Okada match.
Oh, you stop.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. So, the Sandow Corporation, for those who are not familiar, Billy Sandow has expanded the Goldust Trio. It's no longer just Tismon and Ed Lewis. He's got George Hackenschmidt and Billy Robinson under his control as well.
Mm-hmm.
The idea here is the corporation had to wait on the stage. They would send the people down one at a time. The match would continue until somebody in the corporation defeated Luthez or until Thez defeated all 4.
Mm-hmm.
And
one of the
let's see, who's he sending out first? He's going to send out Toots Monk first. Interesting decision.
Well, he kind of had to on it because Mont has been wrestling a little bit more with the Sandow Corporation, but he's always been more of a promoter and more of the backstage guy, which almost makes it a little weird why he went out first as well, because you'd think that Thez would have to go through all the other members of the Sandow Corporation and then finally get his hands on Toots Monk. So,
well, we'll see. The end of the match would give a better indication, but we'll get there when we get there.
Mm-hmm.
You open with some good grappling. Mont goes for top position. Thez just reverses, looks for a German. Mont hangs onto the ropes. We're getting nowhere fast here. Mont tries a kick. Thez ducks it, sweeps out the leg, goes to a half crab. Mont kicks away, tries a leg trip. Thez just gets a quick cradle for 2. Mont is back into the corner. Thez charges. Mont gets the knees up, tries for a pin with the ropes. That gets 2, but referee sees it. Mont with a little bit of arguing. Thez gets the rolling Germans, goes up top, lands a huge clothesline. Tries a power bomb, but Mont catches the head, lands with a DDT, eventually rolls over, covers for 2. Mont feeling his oats, tries for a tackle. Thez leapfrogs over it. Mont hits the post hard. Thez with a German suplex. He bridges. 5 minutes in, 1 man down, 3 to go.
Now, that basically works on it because that's probably another good reason for Mont first on it, because that way you give Thez a nice warm-up person. Someone you can probably beat pretty quickly and then go for the real in-depth stuff.
And along those lines, the next person down comes George Hackenschmidt. Thez meets him in the aisle. They're brawling back and forth. Thez eats the ring post, and Hackenschmidt just starts chopping repeatedly there. Back in, it gets him a 2. Go to the chin lock. Thez powers up, but Hackenschmidt uses the hair. Yeah, we checked. Thez has hair. Yanks him back down and starts stomping away. Hackenschmidt with a back elbow and then a suplex gets a 2 count. Back up top, he's looking for that diving chop he calls the hack and slash, but he gets hit with a boot to the face on the way down. Count is on. Ed Lewis is trying to help out, but Sando holds him back. Referee's distracted here, and Hackenschmidt has knuckles in his trunks. Boom! Hits Thez right on top, covers, and nope, just a 2. But Thez is busted open. Hackenschmidt hides knuckles in the corner, goes up top. Thez staggers into the ropes. Hackenschmidt is crotched. Thez goes up top, meets him up there. There's the hook. There's the superplex. Now both men are down. Again, moment of truth, and this time Thez is up first. Big chop block. Gets the STF. Hackenschmidt looking for the ropes. He's looking. He's almost there. No, wait. Thez pulls him back, and that's the tap out. Total time so far, 11:30. 2 down, 2 to go.
Well, probably had to go this way on it because Hackenschmidt may have tried to cheat on this one, but ultimately it couldn't be. Sneak one of your sparring partners into the camp of Blue Thez to injure his knee and then promise him 2 falls, one of the falls, but then give him 2 straight falls. You have to actually use real cheating to beat Blue Thez.
Yep. And along those lines, both Ed Lewis and Billy Robinson thought they were next, charged to the ring. Sandow had to call them back. A little bit of confusion, but eventually it was Billy Robinson, the British Bruiser, coming out next. A little bit of grappling as Thez gets a go behind, but Robinson with a snapmare into a running drop kick. Nope, wait, Thez swats it away. He looks for a wheelbarrow suplex. Robinson blocks, lands on his feet, standing switch, gets the O'Connor roll, 2 count. Robinson with a clothesline to the back of Thez's head, and he starts choking. Lifts Thez up, slugs away at the gut, big uppercut. Whip into the corner, Thez reverses, but Robinson's on the middle rope and flings himself backwards, back elbow into Thez. He gets a 2 count out of it, and now Robinson, the first one, really to take over for the corporation. Butterfly suplex follows, that's a 2 count. Lots of uppercuts, unloading on Lou Thez. Sends him across the ring, hooks, he's got a hammerlock, Northern Lights, yep, big suplex, beautifully done. Doesn't go for the cover, though. Instead, he's going to pick Thez up and has him in a bear hug, throws him into the corner with it, holds on, lifts him up. He's got the fireman's carry out of the bear hugs, transitioning into a gutbuster, beautifully done. Still only a 2 count. Into the abdominal stretch now, one of Robinson's favorite moves. And yes, he is using the ropes for leverage as you would. They worked this for a while, and every time it looks like Thez is almost done, referee looks up, Robinson pulls his hands away. Eventually, they catch Robinson with his hands on the ropes. Referee pulls the hand off. Thez gets the hip toss, and here we go. Thez looks for a pile driver right away, but no, still too tired, and Robinson with a back body drop. Wait, Thez hangs on, sunset flip. Robinson going to try to sit down. Thez rolls away. Great series of counters there. Now Thez kicks away at Robinson's head, doing what Daniel Bryan does very well. Steps back, looks for the roundhouse. Robinson ducks. Cradle, he's got the tights. Doesn't matter, it's only a 2. Both men are up again. Robinson kick to the gut. Single arm DDT. He's got him. 2 it. Nope, Thez has the ropes. Now Robinson wants the pile driver. But Thez grabs the ropes. Yes. Drops him on it with a hot shot. Now wait, he holds on for good measure. And whoa! Luthez just pulled out a backdrop driver to take momentum. I didn't know he knew that. Well,
It's
it is Luthez. He'll
not
learn
more
very
moves
quickly.
than you know. So
He's going up to the top. He's calling for Robinson to get up. He dives. Fez press off the top. 1, 2. Oh, no. Sandow thought it was over. He runs to the ring. Now, Fez sees him, punches him out. Referee trying to get Sandow away. Wait a minute. Robinson has the brass knuckles. He's winding up. Clocks him. No. The referee saw it, though. Billy Robinson disqualified 24 minutes into this endeavor.
even
3 down, 1 to go.
Even with the disqualification, this is probably why you put Billy Robinson with the Sandow Corporation, because most of the Sandow Corporation are great legends who are very important, but they're kind of stale on this one. Most of them have been names for over 100 years in mortal time, and so eventually absence would probably make the heart grow fonder for these guys.
And on those lines, the last man is Ed Lewis. Takes his time getting to the ring, goes to pin Fez. 2. No. He's shocked, but he's going to be even more shocked when Fez starts powering up. Punches, lefts, rights, just wrecking Lewis in the stomach. Goes for the whip. It's reversed. Wait, Lewis with the stranglehold. He's got the sleeper. That's the move he invented. Fez going to the ropes. Lewis slaps his hands away into a German suplex. Back to the sleeper hold. Fez refuses to give up. He's holding on. Now he's fading. Ref's checking the arm. 1 up, 1 down. 2 up, 2 down. 3 up, 3 down. Fez is out, and Ed Lewis wins it for the corporation, but 27 minutes lasted in the ring for Lou Fez. And with everything he went through, that's kind of impressive, actually.
Yeah. Ultimately, Luthez proved why he's one of the linchpin guys in the ALWF, and always considered that if you have no one else and are trying to build somebody up for the ALWF, give the title to Thez and go through. Heck, Sandow's, who might be the most stale act in the afterlife, got pulled to a watchable match here. And that was a shock. I know that the 2 editors gave this match a huge 4-star match and considered it an amazing carry job. Greeley gave it his big, it would have been 5 stars if this was in the West honor.
I think that might have been a little high, but at the same time, especially the Billy Robinson segment was amazing.
Yeah.
And you can see Billy Robinson is someone that if they decide to go with him, he can go.
Exactly. I can imagine a lot of good feuds for Robinson as a singles act, and I wouldn't know if you go with him or go with other options. Like, he's still a little bit old school style, but even something like Pat O'Connor versus Billy Robinson could be very good. So
definitely, there's a lot to talk about. You know, we keep mentioning the draft or the shakeup coming up after Adenia, the big August show that could change a lot of people's fortunes, a lot of people's positions. You got to wonder if Robinson gets separated from the corporation, or if the corporation gets broken up in any way. Who would be the person to step up? We already know that Robinson has a future. Ed Lewis is somebody who is adapting kind of nicely compared to his compatriots. And you know, Sandow, one of the better managers in the afterlife. It's up there.
Yeah. Ultimately, it's one of those things where if something happens, you're not sure if they should go to Valhalla from Elysium, or if you should just go to or if they should just go straight up to go down to NXT and just try to repackage themselves, because they're very similar to Dolph Ziggler. It's not so much that they're bad, it's that they're stale.
Yeah, the problem is that you get somebody. The Goldust Trio has been around for over 50 years in the ALWF, and even in ALWF time, you know, that tends to be quite a bit.
Yeah, and even without it, George Hackenschmidt's been there for 100 years now. That's like it would go past even reinvent him in NXT, and more to maybe should consider going to the Buddha section and get reborn into the mortal realm.
Well, we'll see where that goes from here. The thing that was interesting was Lewis being the one to get the decision. I know, like I said, I know Ed Lewis has been adapting well. You saw him pull out a move that we've seen in NXT UK in the Mortal Realm, where he gets the sleeper, sees the opponent get to the ropes, knocks it away, and does the German suplex. I love that spot when it's done by Voltaire in NXT UK. So maybe Ed Lewis does have a future after all.
Well, Ed Lewis is always going to have some benefit on him because he's a solid performer. He's one of the early great technical wrestlers, and you can always use something like that. And there's always going to be good use for someone who can both be good on a technical scale, and you can just turn the Strangler into something that looks devastating and evil. So,
yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if we can adapt to the more entertaining style that popped up in the 70s and 80s. That is starting to make its way into the ALWF now that those legends are moving in. And speaking of that, up next came the tag title match as Pedro Morales and Bruno Sammartino, two legends of the 70s and 80s, took on Los Perros del Mal, Perro Aguayo Jr. and Hector Garza. Now, the big story here is that if you saw Easter Rising, you know Perro Aguayo was one of the stars of that match, even if he did not win it. And now he's going back to teaming with Hector Garza, who feels like, well, if Aguayo stepped up his game that much, I got to try to do it. And it's proven to be a little difficult for him. Now, they're still on the same page. That's the good news. And they were able to get this title shot against Morales and Sammartino. But looking ahead, you got to wonder if Garza's putting too much pressure on himself and how that's going to factor into this match.
Well, it's not even just those ones. It's also like the Perros del Males versus, for example, Los Gringos Locos on the Red brand, for example, where Eddie Guerrero's been able to be a star, yet you can see that Art Barr and Luis Piccoli are still very good friends with him. They're nothing but happy for their friend making his way to the top. And it's not like this, but on the Blue brand, it's like these tag teams are seeing one half of the team make their way up the ranks, but it's not so much where the other teammate's happy to do it. The only team I can see having that happen is Kerry and David Von Erich, and that's ultimately because no one wants to see the Von Erichs fight, and no one wants to see Kerry or David as a heel.
Yeah, when you were talking about some teams that have been so good as baby faces, it becomes hard to break them up. And I have a feeling that even though Perros del Mal right now are heels, they're going to be hard to break up too.
Well, yeah.
But this is going to be interesting because, we've seen Sammartino and Pedro gel very quickly. Pedro, a pretty good seller. Sammartino's offense was made for a hot tag. They're doing quite well coming off of their title win at Easter Rising. And the question is, how can they keep that up?
Well, honestly, that's one of the pluses on it. And that's always been a big weakness. I know that Garza's and Aguayo been saying that they think that Pedro Morales is weak and he doesn't know the real Lucha Libre with his stuff. And that's
from Puerto Rico. Why would he know Lucha?
Hey, if the Colones can be bullfighters, then Pedro Morales can be a luchador.
Well, we'll see where that goes. And it's going to be Perro and Bruno starting. Lockup not going well for Perro. He gets hip tossed around. Big slam by Bruno. So Garza tries his luck. It's lifted a fireman's carry into the Finley roll. Now both men enter. And Bruno slams their heads together as they bail to the outside. And right next to Morales, who flies off the apron and dives onto both of them. Garza's tossed back in, and Bruno works him over. Snapmare and kicking away at the back before going to the chinlock. Morales tags in. Bruno whips Garza the ropes. Nice drop kick by Morales. Well, he's got Garza up. He's looking to roll the dice. This could be over quickly. Wait, Aguayo off the top rope. Missile drop kick, and it looks like Morales is in trouble. Garza quickly with a knee bar. He's trying to keep Morales grounded and show that you can't be a good luchador if you can't fly. Garza pulls Morales closer to the corner, and Aguayo dives in. Big elbow drop on Morales, and there's the tag. Aguayo now with a spinning toe hold as he does some of that Rudo flexing and switches over to an Indian deathlock. And while he's got it on, he sort of tilts Morales a little so that his belly is exposed, and Garza with a baseball slide to the gut. Now Bruno's mad. He's going to draw the referee's attention. And referee Chris Atkinson can only do so much in this one. Double brain buster by Pedro del Mal. When they turn around, Aguayo has the cover. Just two. Tag Garza in. He delivers with a knee drop. They go to a neutral corner. Garza chopping away. Then a monkey flip. Tagging in Aguayo. And there is Lasila, the standing senton. That gets a 2 count. Now it looks like, Aguayo went for a lion salt press. Morales moves out of the way. He's crawling over. Morales trying to get to Bruno. Can he get there? There's the tag to Garza. No. Garza stops the hot tag. Double back suplex, and Garza covers. Another 2 count. Now Hector Garza going for a stump puller. They're pulling everything out in this match. Aguayo adding a little bit of extra leverage. Morales looks like he's close to submitting, and Bruno breaks up the hold with a big clothesline. And as Atkinson sends Bruno back to the corner, switch off by Perro, and Perro Aguayo hooks the abdominal stretch. And you better believe he's going to hook on Hector Garza for extra leverage. Referee breaks it up, sends Garza to his corner. Morales looks for the hip toss. Nope, Aguayo just rolls through it, catches the charging Morales, and huge Rana sends Morales to the outside. Aguayo building up momentum and dives through the ropes onto Morales. Now back in. He tags in Garza. This could be it. Split-legged moonsault by Garza. 1, 2. No, Morales is still able to get up. Back to Aguayo. He's going to the top rope. Could this be La Lanza, the double stomp? It is. We're going to have new champions. 1, 2. No, saved by Sammartino. The match continues. They pull Morales up. Send him into the ropes. Double clothesline tries ducked. Morales knocks them both down. Morales now pulling himself to the corner. He's in a neutral corner. He's nowhere near anybody. To the second rope. What's he doing? He flies at both men. They're both down again, and they're not going to get up. Morales lunges. Big tag to Sammartino. You get a clothesline. You get a clothesline. I'm going to clothesline you. You get another clothesline then. Flapjack to Garza. Power slam to Aguayo. Garza tries a drop kick. It's caught. Catapult by Bruno sends Garza into Aguayo in the corner. Garza sent out of the ring, which is all right because Aguayo's a legal man. Caught him from behind with a super kick. La Magistral, 2 count. Aguayo goes back up top. Dives off for Lucia. No, Bruno caught him. Power slam again. This could be a finish. He's tagging Morales in. Picks him up in the bear hug off the ropes. Heart attack by Morales. The cover. 2. No, Garza with the save. Now Garza catches Bruno charging back, drops him out of the ring. Gets some momentum and dives onto Bruno. This could be it. Morales working on Aguayo in the corner. Aguayo picks him up. Booby driver. 1, 2. No, still nothing. Bruno returns to the apron, tags Morales, who's basically down. Aguayo doesn't see it as he was going up top. Now Bruno finds him. He's following him up. He's got him hooked. Here comes the superplex. Yes, and Morales tagged in during the superplex. Runs the ropes. Big knee drop. 1, 2, and 3. After 15 minutes, still tag team champions, the Kings of New York. I don't think Aguayo was too happy. He wonders where Garza was on that save, but I get a feeling they're going to work things out.
Well, yeah. Ultimately, this is going to be a good question mark because even with Perro del Mal clearly carrying the opponents here, this is an example of how wrestling isn't just what you see in the X's and O's. Both Bruno Sammartino and Pedro Morales are a slog to watch in the ring. They have great chemistry as a team because they both are pretty basic in it. But what's the thing that the Kings of New York bring to the table? Oh, yeah. It's crowds of people going wild for every step they make in the ring. People throwing up Italian and Puerto Rican flags for a simple punch when they do it, let alone their win. I think I saw it in a recent Notorious B.I.G. video, Biggie representing a Kings of New York t-shirt alongside his posse on this wearing New York Knicks jerseys. And yes, the Knicks aren't dead, but their chances as a top team are.
Hey-oh! So, yeah, what you're looking at here, you've got a team that's just really hot. It's natural to keep the titles on them for now. Very good decision. As for the losers, I know Aguayo is getting a lot of excitement backstage. A lot of people hoping that he can become a single star. But do you really want to break this team up?
Honestly, I don't think so. I think that right now, Perro Stelmao would be more served with a good long tag team run than possibly even a tag title reign. And then, after they've been more established, use it to launch Perro Aguayo than they would be right now. It seems like, yes, Aguayo could be a pretty good mid-carder and upper mid-carder if he left the team behind right now. But if you do it in a year or two, he could be huge.
Good point. And my instant reviewer gave that match a 3-star rating. That sounds pretty fair. I mean, you're looking at, you're starting with, he was a little harsher on some of the earlier matches than the editors were. So,
yeah. Well, ultimately, that's one of the big things because the editors do realize a lot of this stuff, and they're starting to like this Lucha Libre stuff. It was always big in the West, so Greeley was a fan of it. So, and again, the Kings of New York aren't perfect, but they're somehow perfect together, and that does come across in their tag matches.
Yeah, and that's always a good point when you take two guys who aren't necessarily good at singles, but can mesh well, and you put them in a team and see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Our next match, we've got Penny Banner joining the commentary for the next match because it is a number 1 contendership for her title. Mm-hmm. As I mentioned, you've got Chyna, you've got Fabulous Moolah, you've got Luna Vachon, you've got Mae Young, you've got Plum Marco, and we're not going to get the 6th entrant in yet because everyone's going after Chyna to start. Mm-hmm. Luna, Mae, Marco, all laying it in, triple teaming her as Moolah just stands around and yells orders. And then Chyna rolls to the outside and everyone realizes, wait, why the hell are we taking orders from Moolah? Mm-hmm. She bails out. Mae follows. Huge forms as those two go at it. Chyna slides back in, slams down Luna. Marco dives at her. Chyna catches Marco and throws her onto Moolah and Mae. Luna back up. Attacks Chyna and gets a moonsault press. There's our first 2 count of the match. Luna with a drop kick onto Chyna, and she ties herself up into the ropes. And Marco is now back in. Crossbody after crossbody of Chyna to wear her down. And when she's done, Luna says thank you and lariats Marco. Now Moolah's back in. Hair pull slams to Luna, followed by a big splash, and Mae with the save. Mae Young super kicks Moolah. Now Chyna has untangled herself, picks Mae Young up, slams her onto Moolah. Marco, missile drop kick onto Chyna out of nowhere. She covers Moolah, 2 count. Covers Mae Young, also a 2 count. Now Luna's back. Inverted atomic drop, big suplex to Marco. Tries for an arm drag on Chyna, but Chyna's just too big and strong and stands there and smiles at her before finally picking Luna up, military press, and Luna's going to roll out of the ring. Moolah yanks Chyna down by the hair, kicking her hard in the head. She's got the full Nelson hooked, moneymaker. But Mae with a judo throw to Moolah stops it. Now Marco off the top of the crossbody to Mae. Everybody's on the outside but Marco, who looks to be building up momentum, and
I hear the music hitting. I think I see it, and I'm not sure, but it's. Oh, crap. Him.
Yep, Andy Kaufman's the 6th entrant. Because he would be.
Mm-hmm.
Marco turns around, faces him, tells him, get in the ring already. And Moolah from behind with a clothesline to Marco. Now Kaufman slides in and tries to pick up Moolah for a body slam, but no. He's going to try a second time. Moolah falls on top, quick 2 count. Kaufman gets kicked to the outside, and while he's out there, realizes, wait a second. A 6-pack challenge is necessarily no disqualification. So he grabs a chair and starts wearing out Moolah with it. Rolls Moolah in, sets up, oh gosh, he's doing the worm. Mm-hmm. Kaufman's doing the worm. Why is he doing the worm? Oh, caught from behind by Marco with a German suplex. Then a brainbuster. Now the stretch plum is on Kaufman. But wait, Chyna breaks it up. She grabs Marco for an over-the-shoulder pop. What? No, Kaufman attacks, tries to climb up. Chyna has him in the other arm. She's going to give a running power slam to both of them at the same time. Mm-hmm. Throws Chyna out of the ring, covers Marco. 2, no. Now Mae Young is back in. Luna charges. Mae throws her out of the ring onto Moolah. Wait, Kaufman's got something in his hand. He's got a spray, and oh, he got it in Mae Young's eyes. No, no, DDT. But wait, Mariko's up again. She's got Kaufman on his shoulders. What's going to happen here? Oh, the electric chair driver with a bridge. 1, 2, and 3. Your new #1 contender, Plum Mariko.
And this is a pretty good match because Plum Mariko is one of the few women in the current Angels division who is actually, good. And that's one of the weaknesses of the current thing where the ALWF's been dedicated to the Angels Revolution, but it's just not working because they don't have the weaponry for these things. The Angels Revolution needs a lot of work, and there's not a lot of good prospects doing so because a lot of the best women's wrestlers stay in the mortal realm. I know that they recently came to terms with Ashley Massaro, but she still needs a little bit of time in NXT to really become a top-tier Angel for this division. It says something that Andy Kaufman wasn't just in this match, but he was the right choice to do it. That should say something for how bad this division is. It was the right thing to do to put Andy Kaufman in this match.
And part of that reason is that he is a person who can take as many pinfalls as he has to. He has no ego, and he keeps getting himself over because he's one of the best on the mic.
Exactly. This is ultimately Andy Kaufman had been seen as a joke because he was a comedian trying to go in, but the guy just gets it. And that's a high praise for a wrestler to say they just get wrestling.
And that's kind of why he's the only amateur pro wrestler, if you will, on the main roster at this time.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there is one other one I want to talk about, and that is Chyna. You watched her in this match. She's just coming off the loss to Banner at Easter, but they did a great job of keeping her looking like a threat. Really, I was impressed with that one bit where she was able to deliver a one-arm power slam to 2 people at once, one over each shoulder. That was an incredible visual.
Yeah, and honestly, that could be future good stuff for her against Mariko, simply because it's always going to be hard with Chyna because she seems so much higher than the rest of the division, but she doesn't seem high enough for you to say that, why don't we put her with the men like they did on the Mortal Realm?
Right. And I do like, by the way, that now that Moolah's influence over the Angels division has diminished quite a bit, they are mixing up who gets the matches. They've made peace with people like Mildred Berg, with June Byers, with as we see with Penny Banner. They're bringing some of the pre-Moolah people back in and building more around them.
Yeah. Well, in those cases, you also have that the afterlife makes every mortal problem fall apart in peace as you live in eternity, at best. And if it isn't, then it just means this time we see pimps down, hoes up.
Right. Mm-hmm. Anyway, we had a little bit backstage where JYD was being looked over. Vern Gagne came in just to check on him. Just another thing to establish, Dog is in no condition to cash in tonight. Kind of asked, why Gagne of all people? And Gagne said he's always believed that it should be a fight between 2 men, and he was sick of what Rogers was doing. Somebody had to help. Mm-hmm. Like kind of a weak justification, but Buddy Rogers is going to run with it.
Yeah. And ultimately, as long as it goes, you're going to need to have a weak justification because there really is no justification for why Vern Gagne would care about Junkyard Dog except every babyface is friends with every other babyface, every heel is friends with every other heel, and ne'er the twain shall meet.
Which, let's be fair, is a wrestling tradition.
Well, of course.
Our next match, TV title on the line, Terry Gordy and Kerry Von Erich, with Buddy Jack Roberts and David Von Erich working around ringside. Gordy attacks him before the bell, beats him down in the corner, throws him across the ring. He's looking for a football tackle, but no. Kerry catches him with a knee lift, runs off bounces off the ropes while in snap position, mirrors Gordy to the outside. Gordy and Roberts sort of talking things over. Now Gordy back on the apron. Oh, Kerry with a slingshot to bring him back in the hard way. Kerry with an arm lock now. Adding knees to the elbow, just working it over, grinding him down. Gordy gets to his feet, puts Kerry into the ropes, gets a shoulder block. But kip up by Kerry. Drop kick by Kerry. Headlock takedown by Kerry into an arm bar. Gordy with a quick stack up. One count up. Kerry's back up. Big back body drop. I mean, Gordy is just not getting out of the gates here. A series of arm drags. Gordy is tired. He's begging off in the corner. Kerry moves in. Gordy went to the eyes. He's holding up the thumb. He wants the spike. Kerry blocks it. And there's the claw. Kerry has the claw, and he's looking for a quick win. They back into the ropes. Now Buddy Roberts on the apron pulls Kerry away. Referee Hildebrand. That's right. Referee Brian Hildebrand. It's Mark Curtis. And Marsh said, wait, David's in the ring. Fires through the ropes with a spear to send Roberts to the floor. This is chaos. Wait, the wallet's on the apron. Gordy has it. Hildebrand trying to clear up the seconds, get them back in their corners. Gordy swings, misses, and in one motion, Kerry with the discus punch, get back in the ring wrap. 1, 2, we have a new champion. Holy cow. I know that Gordy, I know that backstage the Freebirds and Von Erich will put each other over like crazy, but did anyone see just a bulldozing in this match?
Honestly, it's kind of weird on this one because, again, this ties to the question mark about Perro Stelmal and whether they should turn heel or not first to make Perro Aguayo Jr. more of a star. Ultimately, the Blue Brand has a very strong tag team division with the members of the Sandow Corporation, the members of Devastation Incorporated, the Von Erich brothers, the Kings of New York, the Chiefs of Jay Strongbow and Wahoo McDaniel, the Freebirds, Gotch style of Frank and Carl Gotch, who we'll see later, the Vancouver Giants we're going to see later, the Atomic Pair, who we'll see later, and Perro Stelmal. But ultimately, a lot of those teams seem like they're on their way out for these things. And that's going to be a big question because you don't really feel like the Von Erichs or Freebirds should ever break up with them. But at the same time, it kind of seems like it's time to go in a different direction. Like the fact that the draft is coming up very soon is probably a good thing because it just seems like it's time to say, okay, we're sending David to the Red Brand. We're sending Buddy Roberts to the Red Brand and trying to make stuff to make it so you have an amicable split without having to have heel turns there. Because Kerry Von Erich and Terry Gordy are ready for their singles close-up.
Absolutely. And although I got to say, Gordy, his weekly TV title defenses weren't always the best. So, okay, move the title to somebody who can perform, who can get the crowd going every night. That's certainly one of Kerry's strengths. Is that even when he was in an altered state, he still knew how to work the crowd.
Mm-hmm. And even then, you have possible options like if you can't use something like that, you need to keep Terry Gordy as the star. I know that in the Jobber Corps on the Red Brand, you have Steve Williams, and making Williams and Gordy the tag team would still give a whole shot in the arm and make it a little bit different than Roberts and Gordy.
That's true. And, we went backstage. We saw Fritz and Mike and David and Kerry all celebrating. And it was here that Kerry brought up a neat concept that I love that the Blue Brand does every year around this time. They know that the Red guys have the July show. So between June and August, they do their little G1-style tournament, the Road to Adinia. It's 2 blocks of 7 people each. Then the 2 winners face off, and whoever wins this tournament gets the title shot at Adinia in August. Just to bring it up, last year, Roddy Piper won this tournament. He got his shot at then-champion Lou Thez. And it was the story that kicked off the road to Easter Rising because the Sheik was unleashed by Gary Hart in that main event, destroyed both people, left them lying. And that's when the Nature Boy cashed in his miracle contract, beat Lou Thez to become the champion. And that's where we really started the wheels rolling towards Rogers versus Piper.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's always a good thing about the G1 here, and it's going to be very interesting. I mean, I don't think Junkyard Dog would cash in his miracle on this one because it doesn't seem like Dog's way. So
That's true. That's going to be a big deal. The brackets were announced. We'll get to them after this show.
mm-hmm.
The next match, probably on paper, looked really weird. You had Frank Gotch, who is also a 100-year veteran of the ALWF. You had Karl Gotch, who, yes, big guy in Japan, big story in Europe, but he's a longtime veteran.
Mm-hmm.
You had Leo Jonathan, whose best days were, again, 50 years ago in the Mortal Realm, just like with Karl Gotch. And you have John Tenta, who, he has sumo strength, he has a bit of agility, but he was never really tested, never really had a great performance. Mm-hmm. Now you put these guys in a tag match. This really looked like a cool-down match.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you don't know what we're up to here.
Yeah. Ultimately, this match was one where the two editors weren't convinced about the Vancouver Giants being fast-tracked, thinking that it was a very short-term thing from Don Leo Jonathan signing with NXT and teaming up with John Tenta, and within about 4 months they were on this blue brand on it. But after this match, they proved tonight they were ready.
And let's show you why. Obviously, this started with the Gotchas on the outside as the Giants played the crowd, cut off any attacks. Finally, let's get this started here. We have Leo Jonathan and Karl Gotch in the ring. Karl with a headlock. He's shoved off, knocks down Leo, runs the ropes, dropped down by Leo, big leapfrog, gets him on the other side with an overhead suplex. Frank enters. He's going to get thrown around. Gotch has pulled themselves up. Leo with a drop kick to both men. They're on the outside recovering. Tenta steps to the side. Here comes Leo, and Tenta backdrops him onto both men. Karl gets tossed in. Big elbow drop by Tenta, and he's starting the rumbling already. Off the ropes, he's looking for the big Tenta 0.0 quake. No, tripped by Frank. Tenta turns around to look at him and drops sleeper by Karl. Karl now works a front face lock on the ground, rolls Tenta up, rolls Tenta, do a little gator style, keeps him on the ground. Tenta pulls himself up to his feet. He grabs Karl, overhead press slam. Now Leo is in. Rolling thunder to Karl. He's going up top. He wants his missile drop kick. No. Frank shoves him off the ropes, and Karl catches him. He just caught a 310-pound man. Follow-away slam by Karl. Now Frank in, and oh my gosh, a back suplex. That's going to get a 2 count. Frank Gotch working a knee bar on Leo now, adding the elbows. Now, Leo's a tall guy, 6'6", so he has good reach for the ropes, but Karl runs in, leg drop on Leo, and now Frank covers, gets a 2 count. Tag back in Karl, break of the eyes, picks him up in a fireman's carry, and he's doing multiple squats with him into the Samoan drop. 1, 2, no. Now Frank in with Jonathan into the ropes, double flapjack, my goodness, and a double headbutt. And now Frank with his finisher, the ankle lock. Leo Jonathan might have to tap out early. No, Tenta bowls him over for the save. He's being escorted out of the ring. Now Frank trying for a back suplex. Leo adding the elbows. Karl just tagged himself in and grabs Jonathan by the hair. They're coming. He throws him down to the ground and goes to the top rope. I'm not sure what he's going to try here. Leo charges in. Oh, dear. Karl and Leo just banged heads together. That could be a game changer. Both men are slow to get up. Now Karl is up. He's a little dazed. Leo Jonathan with a kip up and a lariat. Where's this coming from? And he's going to somersault over. Big hot tag to John Tenta. Everybody down. Everybody down again. He traps both men in the corner. Has his back to them and just starts slamming his weight into them. They stagger back out. Frank is out first. Tenta grabs him by the tights. Sumo suplex. He's looking on top. Nope. Karl with a chop block slows him down. Comes off real quick. Tenta has him. Big choke slam. Now Frank is up again. He staggers to the corner. Headbutt by Leo. Leo goes to the top. Oh, Frank is on John Tenta's shoulders. Doomsday device by the Giants. Tenta goes to the cover. Ref saying no. Why? Oh, that's right. Carl's the legal man, and a double stomp to Tenta to take over. He throws Tenta into Leo Jonathan, sending him out. Tenta is trapped in the corner. 1, 2, 3, 4, just unloading the punches. Now Carl Gotch egging on the crowd. Uh-oh. Shouldn't have done that. Last ride by John Tenta. Pulls himself up. There's the jumping again. The ring is shaking. Off the ropes. A second time. Tenta. 0.01. 2. No. Frank Gotch with the save. Now Leo runs in. Frank overhead suplexes him. My goodness. But wait. Tenta and Carl, the legal men. Tenta dragging Carl to the corner. He's up on the second rope looking for the Coquina Bonsai drop. But Frank is there. Slamming Tenta in the back. He pushes Tenta up to the top rope. Gets Carl's attention. They both climb to the second rope. Are you kidding me? That's 460 pounds. They're going to try and superplex off the top. Wait, nope. Tenta's blocking. Oh, here comes Leo. He's got him both in a powerbomb and Tower of Doom connects. Everybody's down. Who's going to get up first? It's Leo Jonathan. Up to the top. He's looking. He's got Carl in his sights. Diving shoulder. No! Carl steps over and there's the Carl Gotch with a Fujiwara armbar on Don Leo. Can you believe it? Wait, John Tenta picking Carl up with one hand. My goodness, the power. Throws him to the ropes. Oh, blind tag by Frank. Spine buster on Carl, but it's not going to do any good. Frank now. Slingshots in. Oh, he's trying for a sunset flip. Pulling. Oh, Tenta's blocking. Wait. Frank. Oh, he spiders up Tenta's back and uses the legs to pull Tenta down. 2. No. Leo charges. Frank Lowe bridges him out of the ring. Carl back in. Now they're each hooking a leg of John Tenta's. What's going to happen here? Double Gotch facebuster. Carl covers 1, 2, 3. And for the first time since their call-up, the Vancouver Giants on the losing end. But after this match, I got to say this. After this match, as Don Leo was helping Tenta to the back, the crowd gave a spontaneous standing ovation. They weren't even milking for it. It just happened. And I can't say I'm surprised. For 17 minutes, these 4 guys, you can only say, overachieved. We knew that Frank was deceptively strong. He's been compared to Kurt Angle. We knew that Carl was one of the stronger men, especially with leg strength. We saw that when he gave those squat thrusts with Don Leo on his back. But we had no idea of the athleticism of Don Leo. We had even less idea of the athleticism of John Tenta. These 4 just went out and put on, I've got to say it, a takeover-style tag match.
Yeah, and honestly, that would be one of the things to use on the takeover match, because just watching this match, you see how similar the Vancouver Giants would be for a Mortal Realms comparison to War Raiders, for example. That's agile big men, and they're still able to be powerhouses even throughout that you get from both sides. Also, I think that they did try to give them the name the Canuck Experience, but they went with Vancouver Giants instead.
Probably for the best.
Mm-hmm.
And as for the win, I'm not surprised Carl got the cover. He's the one of these 4 that's been entered into the road to Adinia. But wow. Hey, can we get a rematch with these guys?
Yes. Honestly, if they're trying to rework the tag division on the Blue brand, these 2 are the teams you try to build around right now. And you can see it from how, for example, of the recent call-ups on the team. Of course, Makan Singh was going to do well. Black Shadow has apparently fallen off the cliff on it, but it's clear that there's something with the Vancouver Giants, and they could be a good team to build the tag division around. Because it looks like the Blue brand needs to rebuild it.
And I guess it's not as much of a surprise as we're making it out to be. You got 6'8", 450 with Tenta. You got 6'6", 300 with Don Leo. A monster tag team is always going to succeed. but at the same time, they're not just monsters. You saw in this match, Leo Jonathan moves around like he's a cruiserweight, like he weighs 100 pounds less. John Tenta, that sumo agility that he has, came into play quite a bit. He was able to, move a lot faster than anyone gave him credit for. And some of those things you don't hear "This is awesome" chants very often in the ALWF, but I swear I heard one after that Tower of Doom.
Yes. And ultimately, that's going to be one of the good things for it, because they need some teams who can give you something that works. And the fact that Frank Gotch was able to reinvent his style better than the Sandow Corporation have for a more modern audience as well has helped this team very well.
And we always knew that Frank had that deceptive strength. He's only about 5'10", 210 or so, but he always had the ability. He always had the strength, the agility, the know-how. That's what made him so dangerous in the catch wrestling era. And he's been able to look at somebody like a Kurt Angle or a Chad Gable or the other amateur stars that have come along since. We saw him when Vern Gagne was big in the 50s and 60s, adapt his style to look like Vern Gagne. Frank Gotch is really one of the more versatile wrestlers that they have. And teaming him with Carl, obviously it's a cheap joke because Carl took his last name from Frank. But at the same time, it's worked very well for both of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and ultimately that's all you need for it, because you need some good teams like this.
Yeah. Our next match, first off, a little video package introducing the next match. If you recall, the first show after Easter, it looked like Buddy Rogers and Mitsuharu Misawa was going to be our main event. But Devastation Incorporated attacked Misawa backstage, threw him into the ring, wore him out left and bloody. They kept this up for a couple weeks until Jumbo Tsuruta could take no more and helped out his fellow Perro legend. Meanwhile, Lassie and Vachon had a pretty good match on a recent television show against Pareja Atomica, which is El Santo and Gory Guerrero. But at the end of the match, as Albano checked on his men, Gary Hart ordered an attack on Lou Albano and pulled out scissors. I think they're going to try and cut the beard of Captain Lou. But Misawa and Jumbo stopped it, and soon after, we have this 8-man tag team match. It is The Sheik, Freddie Blassie, Maurice Vachon, and Makan Singh, led by Gary Hart, against Mitsuharu Misawa, Jumbo Tsuruta, El Santo, and Gory Guerrero, led by Captain Lou. Good luck to the referee. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Mm-hmm.
Your thoughts before we get there, SK?
Well, honestly, this is going to be a good question on it, because it seems like it was just the Devastation Incorporated needed something, but it seems like Atomic Pair and Tsuruta and Misawa are a little bit lower of the team to go through on it. And I see some problems even on the Red brand with those ones, but it seems like Misawa's rise needs to be separate on it, and Devastation Inc. isn't really at that level he should be at right now.
Now, let's be fair, though. Going through Devastation Inc. is what catapulted Roddy Piper to his Rumble victory and eventual title win.
Well, yeah. So there is that benefit as well.
So we're ready to start, and hey, you'll never guess how this match starts. That's right, everybody brawls in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
Then everybody brawls on the outside. The referee's just standing there and saying, well, I mean, nobody's really established themselves as Leo yet. I can't really count, can I?
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, Jumbo rolls in Makan, but Gary Hart with a cane shot to Jumbo's back. Wait, Santo is on the top rope, crossbody on Singh, and he's going to start working over Makan with some ranas. But in come Blassie and Vachon. Santo as Makan rolls outside, double backdrop on Santo. Now Gordy comes in. He's going to clothesline both men down. Brainbuster on Vachon. No, Sheik with a chop to the throat of Gordy. Vachon falls on top. Now Misawa clotheslines the Sheik down and breaks up the pin. And guys, wait, hold on. Jimmy Lennon, our ring announcer, has an announcement. By order of Elysium Commissioner Stu Hart, this match will be contested under tornado rules. Everyone is legal. Well, okay then. As the brawl continues, everybody slowly works their way outside the ring. We're left with Tsuruta and Singh in the ring. Jumbo Tsuruta is stuck in the corner. Karachi crunched by McCann. He goes up top. Wants a big splash. Caught off the top with a power slam by Tsuruta. Wow. Now Sheik big headbutt to Jumbo. Choking him down on the ground. Wait, Santo springboards into a tope atomica on Sheik. Now Pereira is in there. Double brain buster to the Sheik. Santos got him roll over. Dan Caballo, the camel clutch is on. But wait, Blassie's back in. Big claw to Santo. Picks him up. Has him on the ground. Is clawing away at his stomach. And, oh, he's going for the mask of Santo. No, don't take the mask. Misawa stops all of that. He's got Blassie hooked in a double underhook. Tiger suplex. Now off the ropes. Elbow suicide to the outside of Maurice Vachon. Meanwhile, back in. Gordy is up top. Sheik is standing up. Diving Hurricane Rana. Wait, McCann is back to his feet. Back suplex on Gordy. No, Gordy flips out of it. Charges it. Power slam by Singh. 1, 2. No, Misawa makes the save. He wants a Tiger driver. But wait, Sheik with a cheap shot. Oh, the ref's down. This isn't good. Gary Hart throws his cane into the ring. Sheik swings. No. Misawa knocks down Sheik. Santo with a drop kick to send him to the ropes. Santo is off the ropes. Oh, you better believe it. 619 coming. But wait. He's on the... Vachon drags him off the apron and slams him through the Spanish announcer's table. Gary Hart just handed something to Sheik. I didn't see what it was. Now Lou Albano is in. He's fighting Gary Hart. The two of them roll into the ring. This is chaos. The referee is up. He's looking around. He just says, yeah, the hell with it. And I don't blame him. He's thrown the match out. And just at that moment, Albano has Gary Hart down, picks up the cane, and oh no! The Sheik just landed a fireball on Lou Albano. Everybody clears out of the ring. Devastation Incorporated walks to the back, arrogant and feeling a bit triumphant, even though this is technically a no contest. And Captain Lou's, we're going to need to get Captain Lou some help. Oh, only about 12 minutes, but it was 12 minutes of constant action. And what more do you expect out of a match with the Sheik in it?
Mm-hmm.
For those who thought that the Sheik would be able to have a wrestling match because he was against Misawa, it's going to go the other way. Misawa is going to have to fight for his life against the Sheik. And that's something that didn't happen very often in Japan, just a war. Most of his matches were these technical storytelling classics. We'll have to see if he can do a war. I mean, even the Last Man Standing feud with Chris Benoit was technically oriented, was more of a chess match. This is going to be a heavyweight fight with both guys throwing bombs left and right. And we're not even at the one-on-one showdown yet because it's clear these 8 guys are going to have to rematch at some point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, ultimately that's going to be the question mark because this was one of those good matches that it seemed like it's needed something, but it's one of those where you can see it going to War Games on one side as the end game, but you also have to kind of assume that Jumbo Tsuruta and Mitsuharu Misawa kind of belong on the red brand right now to be involved with this Rikito-san and his group as the biggest heel stable they have. So,
well, we'll have to see. I don't really think Misawa is the kind of person who plays heel very well.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about as allies for Hashimoto. So.
Oh yeah, good point. Well, we'll see down the line. But I imagine that Adini is going to have one heck of a war. I don't know how they're going to meet it out because traditionally, if it's going to War Games, traditionally that is a November live event.
Mm-hmm.
So who knows what's going to come up next?
Yeah.
But fortunately, we knew what was coming up next on this show. It was time for the main event. It was time for the obligatory rematch to be called in. Buddy Rogers now the challenger on the champion, Roddy Piper. And boy, does that sound weird for those of you who know. Roddy Piper was never really a world champion in life, but here he is, the champion of the ALWF. Here we go. Both men in the ring. Very respectable start. Jockey position on a lockup. Headlock by Buddy Rogers. Walks him back into the ropes. Piper tries to shove. Not happening. Still fighting. Piper reversing to a top wrist lock. Now Rogers rolls through. Into an arm drag. Piper back up immediately. Big clothesline to Rogers. Rogers up quickly, and both men being very cautious. Neither one really coming in. Piper wants Rogers to meet him. Rogers is staying in his corner. Now Piper charges. Rogers sidesteps him, catches him on the rebound. O'Connor roll attempt. Piper hooks the ropes. Big right hand by Piper. Round and pound now. Then a headbutt. Off the ropes. Elbow drop. Piper wants to end this early. He's got the sleeper. Wait, Rogers into the ropes, and he lets Piper's throat into the top rope. Drop kick by Rogers. And he tosses Piper out of the ring. He has a nice little conversation with the referee while Muchnick chokes away at Piper with his jacket. Now Rogers follows him outside, sets him up against the barricade. Huge chops against the barricade. And another one. A third one. He throws Piper back in, rolls in, looks for the knee pad, pulls it into position. Knee drop on the hot rod. Now hooking the leg. Has it hooked in an Indian deathlock. Dropping his weight again and again. Making sure that pressure is on every time he falls back. Falls back one too many times. Piper with the elbows to get out of it. He tries to get up quickly. Oh, no. Leg was tweaked in that deathlock, and Rogers has a neck breaker. Now, Rogers looking to put Piper on the top rope. It's going to be another superplex. Oh, no, there's the eye poke by Piper, and Rogers falls off. Now Piper comes off. Oh, kicked out of midair by Rogers. Piper tries to pull himself up. Rogers works over the leg. Piper extending it. He's got Piper grounded. Going for the spinning toe. Nope. Piper with the cradle to it. Nope, that's not happening. Rogers stops Piper from getting up by working over the bad leg again. Then drops a chop on a Piper's throat just to be mean. He picks Piper up. Oh, this is going to be a pile driver. Looks like a pile driver's coming. Nope. Piper trips the legs. Now he wants a figure four on Rogers. No, that's not going to happen. Rogers won't let that happen. Off the ropes, chop block. And now Rogers with the figure four on Roddy. He's in trouble. He's fighting for the rope, screaming out in pain. Roddy, do you submit? Do you submit? Okay, that hand signal indicates he does not submit. Got it. Now he's trying to reverse the hold. Leaning one way. Leaning the other way. Rogers keeping a good center of gravity. He moved. Now Piper with a quick yank. He reverses, and Rogers has to grab onto the ropes. Before Rogers can pull himself up, Piper crawls quickly over. Lots of headbutts. Rogers is forced to retreat. Rogers gets trapped in the corner. Now Piper pulls himself up in the corner. And yes, he's going to boxing town on Rogers. Left, right. Big uppercut. Rogers is out. Piper with a clothesline. Covers. No, not yet. Now Piper with a pile driver of his own. But Rogers throws his weight into the leg. Drives Piper down to his knees. Roundhouse kick connects. 2. No. Rogers looking pretty confident for himself. He's going to pick the leg up of Piper. I think he wants to pick Piper up for a dragon screw. Piper kicks him away. Here he comes back. Body drop. But Piper can't keep to his feet. He's got to try and pull himself up. He's in the corner. Rogers is up first. Rogers charging in, met with the knees. Oh, Piper's hurt even more. Piper tries to pull himself up. Oh, Rogers goes right after the leg. And he's got the figure four on again. And this time he's holding the rope for leverage. Piper cannot hold on. Piper is fading. We could have a new champion again. What's going to happen? Wait. Here comes Vern Gagne again, and he's going to make sure that the title doesn't change hands this way. He's trying to get Rogers' hands off of the ropes. Muchnick says, hey, there's somebody out here cheating. The referee sees this, tells Gagne to go to the back as he breaks the hold. But while the referee is sending Gagne away, Muchnick hands Rogers a roll. Is that a roll of quarters? Yes, it is. Swing, miss. Oh! Piper with one of the biggest low blows you'll ever see. Rogers drops the roll. Piper picks it up, and he beans Muchnick with it. Just throws it right at his head. Piper trying to stand up. Lets out a war cry as he does it. Oh, no. Rogers clotheslines him down. 2. No. Now Rogers wants a pile driver. But wait. Piper putting all his weight on one leg. lifts Rogers up. Fireman's carry. Is he going to do the Ronda Rousey Piper's Pit? He does. There's the cover. 2, no. And Piper can barely stand. In fact, he can't stand. He's just slapping away on his own leg, trying to get some feeling back into it. Now both men are on their knees. Back and forth. Right hands by both men. But if it's a punching match, you know Piper's going to get the better of it. He does. He stands with a big haymaker. And now Piper falls on top. 2, no. Piper slowly pulling himself. Rogers having to pull himself up in the corner as well. Both men very tired. Piper charges. Nobody home. Rogers looking for the back suplex. Wait, no. Piper fights it off. He's got the headlock into the driver. Hell just came to Frogtown and hell came to Buddy Rogers, and that's a 3 count. Roddy Piper still ALWF champion. Sammartino helps Rogers to the back, and Roddy Piper clearly thinks he's done with Rogers. He holds the title up, and you can see him mutter as we go off the air. Who's next, baby? Who's next?
Honestly, that's going to be a good question mark, because if this is the last stand of Buddy Rogers as Piper's rival, it's kind of weird. That seems like it's telegraphing he's going to the red brand, because I think Rogers has legs as a long-term rival to Roddy Piper. Remember, Buddy Rogers was the original Nature Boy, and Roddy Piper and Ric Flair were so close in the real world and had some pretty good rival wars themselves. So,
well, that was the show. That was all 8 matches. Now this did run a little longer than we expected. That was the one downside to it. But overall, you look at this show. I've got to ask, what are your final thoughts on it?
Ultimately, I think that it was a weaker show than most on paper, but that's not to say it's a bad thing, because in the afterlife, all shows make Double or Nothing look like Backlash 2018. So a weak show in the Afterlife Wrestling Federation is still very good.
I don't think it's quite fair to say that all these shows are, killer shows, but the crowd treats them as killer shows. That's the big thing. There's a very vibrant crowd. Everybody loves being there. There's no cynicism, really.
Exactly. And this is one of the pluses on it, where the show did have a lot of things which were kind of meh on paper on it, but there's also things like that very good Luthez 30-minute match. That was the Vancouver Giants having their coming out party. So there was some good things on this show, even if it seemed a little bit subpar compared to the bigger Afterlife Wrestling Federation shows, at least.
That's right. Now, we talked about it a couple of times. It's time to reveal the blocks for the road to Adynia. As we mentioned, it's 2 blocks of 7 wrestlers. They're going to be doing a round robin throughout Elysium Television. The 2 block winners at the end will square off, and the winner faces Roddy Piper at Adynia for the ALWF Championship.
Mm-hmm.
So, Block A. Well, as expected, Buddy Rogers gets one more chance if he can win the road to Adynia. He's in Block A. Joining him, the Sandow Corporation's apparently new star, the Strangler, Ed Lewis. Hot Stuff, Eddie Gilbert. Luthez. Perro Aguayo Jr. is in this. Terry Bam Bam Gordy. And you had to see this coming, Vern Gagne in Block A. Looking at this field of 7, what are your first thoughts?
Well, the biggest thing on the Block A thing is it seems a little weird that Eddie Graham basically got into this block in the first place, because
Eddie Gilbert.
Eddie Gilbert, yes. Because ultimately he was weighed, measured, and found wanting in his match at pay-per-view. Like, Junkyard Dog basically said that probably the best thing for Gilbert is to go back to NXT and learn how to be a main eventer, because it's not happening anytime soon here. So
we've always known that the road to Adynia always had a few mechanics and always had a few guys that could spring an upset or two. That may be Gilbert's role in this one.
Yeah, it could be possible. I mean, you have to have a Toru Yano somewhere, so.
Meanwhile, in Block B, these 7, a big deal. The Big Daddy, Crabtree. Devastation Incorporated's Classy Freddie Blassie. The other half of Perros Del Mal, Hector Garza, Mr. Miracle, the Junkyard Dog. One half of Gotch Style, Carl Gotch. The new television champion, Kerry Von Erich. And Mitsuharu Misawa. These seven, wow.
Yeah, this match I think is going to be where the Block B winner comes from. You could make a strong case for Kerry. You could make a strong case for Misawa. You could make a strong case for JYD. But I think whoever wins Block B wins the whole thing.
So I want to get your predictions on both blocks. Starting with Block A, you got Rogers, Lewis, Gilbert, Thez, Aguayo, Gordy, and Gagne.
Honestly, I'm thinking that more than likely we see. I'm predicting Lou Thez will probably win this block because he seems like the right winner here. Maybe you go Vern Gagne, but only if Junkyard Dog wins the Block B. So
that'll be interesting. Meanwhile, as I said, Block B, you've got Big Daddy, Blassie, Garza, JYD, Carl Gotch, Kerry, and Misawa. How does that turn out?
Honestly, I think this is going to be a dawning of the new era for these things. Like, for instance, of the Block B roster there, a good thing is that they consider, for example, Big Daddy as a main event player in the Blue brand. But hot take here, I think he goes 0-6 in that bracket. Personally,
wow.
Yeah. I'm thinking that this is going to be Misawa's. He's been white hot since the feud with Benoit ended, and it seems right to give him the whole G1.
Well, we'll see where it goes from here. That's going to be exciting on TV. But before we get there, we know that the Valhalla brand is building to their own show in July. We're looking for the date right now. It looks like it's going to be July 14th. That's just 3 weeks away at this point. It was 4 weeks after the Eve show. We're not sure what the name of it is yet. That's still being determined. But we do know by fast forwarding, we do know what the card is going to be. SK, you're the one who launches the red brand. Let me have it.
Well, they say that on the pre-show for this show, you're going to have a big battle as Superfly Jimmy Snuka tries to get into the thick of the Intercontinental title division by taking on Pat O'Connor. And that seems like it's going to be a very good match there. You're going to have the former champion, Nick Bockwinkel, try to get back on his winning ways as he takes on the high-flying South American star Argentino Roca. And that's going to be a good clash of styles right there because Roca and Bockwinkel are so different, but it somehow seems like it's going to be really good. You're going to have an 8-man tag match similar to this one as the Hart Foundation of Davey Boy Smith, Jim Neidhart, Owen Hart, and Brian Pillman will be taking on the Grand Wizard family of Ernie Ladd, Jamal, Rosie, and Vader. And so that's going to be a pretty good beef one there. And you're going to have, after months of problems with the Public Enemy, is going to get their hands on the Sons of Eternity of Adrian Adonis and Chris Canyon. And after all the times that the Dupree brothers have been helping out their biker buddies on this one, the Public Enemy have promised they have a secret weapon that will completely be immune to anything the Sons of Eternity can do. So we don't know what's going to happen there. But those are just the undercard matches. Most of the big matches on this card are connected to each other. You have, for this one, the Intercontinental title and tag titles are both going to be on the line between Los Gringos Locos and the Robbinsdale connection. Kurt Hennig's going to face the Intercontinental champion Eddie Guerrero, while the tag team champions Rick Rude and Tom Zenk will be taking on Art Barr and Louis Spicoli. I've heard rumors they're going to be doing a unique match they call the Double Shot, where one match happens inside the ring and the other match happens in the crowd. But I haven't heard confirmation on that. And
it'll be interesting to see because that, I got to be honest, that might be a bit much for the fans in the crowd who want to be able to watch one match or the other.
Yeah. And then you have the big match on this one, and it's a double gauntlet match, and it's going to be huge for this. First off, you're going to have the Angels match where the evil Rising Suns group of Rikidozan has been trying to adopt the NXT star Lynn Byron in order to get her on their side. And naturally, you've got on this one everyone's favorite angel, Juanita Wright. And this one's going to have the winner of that match will get to coach their team in the double gauntlet main event, but the loser of the match will be stripped to their bra panties and forced to watch the rest of the show from a go-go dancing cage.
Wait, quick question. When did Vince Russo die?
I believe he's not dead, but his career probably is.
Well, that would explain the booking.
Yes. But then you have the double gauntlet, and this is going to be huge on it. Right now, you have the evil members of the Rising Suns, and recently they found a kindred spirit in the dominant monster Bruiser Rowdy, who himself was known for his great career in Japan. Meanwhile, Shinya Hashimoto's gotten a bunch of friends alongside him to fight Rikidozan's people in the high-flying new superstar Hayabusa, the man who has Bruiser Brody's number in Crash Holly, the American Dream Dusty Rhodes, and the Galactic Champion Andre the Giant. Meanwhile, you've got the big news of Mr. Fuji, Toru Tanaka, Bruiser Brody, Giant Baba, and in the big shocker on it, Rikidozan will wrestle again. And I know you heard that at the big Easter Rising show, Rikidozan cannot wrestle, but that's the points that Jack Tunney has made, where in this double gauntlet match, Andre the Giant and Rikidozan are guaranteed to be number 5 in each team's order. Now, before we do it, we should tell you the rules about the double gauntlet match. Both teams are putting on a gauntlet with each other's team. So, for example, it's been guaranteed that the first match on the card will be Hayabusa versus Mr. Fuji. If Mr. Fuji beats Hayabusa, he would fight Crash Holly. If Crash Holly were to then beat Fuji, he would face Toru Tanaka. If Toru Tanaka beat Crash Holly, he'd fight Dusty Rhodes, and so on and so forth until the captain of one of the teams is there. And each side has something that's big if they have their last person in. If they get to Rikidozan, naturally Rikidozan has to wrestle anyone who's left. And you know Shinya Hashimoto wants his hands on Rikidozan again. You know Dusty Rhodes probably would want to get himself some of Rikidozan. Heck, Crash Holly or Hayabusa just debuted from NXT. They'd love a chance to make a name for themselves. And, of course, Andre the Giant would want to beat Rikidozan as well. But there's also a catch on the other side of it. Andre the Giant will also be number 5 on his team. And if, by some chance, it gets to Andre the Giant in the match, then the Galactic title will be on the line for every match that Andre has to take. So, if they have a big battle and Mr. Fuji goes on a hot streak, it's potential that Andre the Giant would have to defend against Mr. Fuji, Toru Tanaka, Bruiser Brody, Giant Baba, and Rikidozan in the same night, one after the other.
So Rikidozan could go from being banned from wrestling altogether to being the Galactic Champion in one night.
It's completely possible. And even beyond that, there's other options there as well. Remember, Giant Baba and Andre the Giant are longtime rivals with each other. Bruiser Brody is a longtime rival who never quite made it to the Galactic title, and he'd love to suddenly go from not even on the Easter Rising card to the Galactic Champion. And even if Toru Tanaka and Mr. Fuji are still recent debuts, no better way to make a name for yourself than being the Galactic title.
My goodness, what a star-studded, action-packed main event that has. And that's going to set up the road with Didia very nicely on the red brand. Just looking ahead, the summer's going to be very, very interesting for both shows. And we're going to join you again in mid-July to go over this show, by which time we're sure it's going to have a name.
Yep.
SK, final thoughts on the night?
Nothing more here, so.
All right. For SK Greene, I am Andrew McHale. This has been the Look Back at Eat, Drink, and Be Merry from the Afterlife Wrestling Federation. We'll see you next time as we look at what the Red Brand does in July, and we give you an update on the road to a Dinia tournament. Until then, see ya.
Peace.